There is a strange moment on the path of becoming when you have done everything you promised yourself you would do. You have changed the inner conversation. You have chosen the new assumption and held it, even on the days it felt like wishful thinking. You have stopped begging the old world for permission. You have lit the candle, spoken the words, returned again and again to the quiet vision of the life you are moving towards, and tried, as honestly as you know how, to live as the person you are becoming. And then, almost cruelly, the world seems to grow colder. The message does not come. The door stays shut. The relationship feels further away, not nearer. The body grows heavy. An old loneliness you thought you had outgrown rises in the chest as if it never left. You look around at your life, at the ordinary evidence of it, and some quiet voice asks the question you have been most afraid of. What if this is proof that I was wrong? I want to sit with you here, in this exact place, before we go any further, because this is the part of the path almost no one prepares you for, and it is the part where most people turn back. This does not always mean you are failing. Sometimes the old world becomes loudest precisely when it is losing its authority over you. Sometimes the old self sends up every fear, every doubt, every familiar piece of evidence, not because it is telling you the truth, but because it is asking to be recognized one last time before it dies. The chill you feel is not always the temperature of your future. Sometimes it is only the sound of something old, releasing its grip. The mind, when it meets this dryness, wants to make it mean something final. It reaches for the worst interpretation and offers it to you as fact. Maybe you are deluding yourself. Maybe manifestation or change or any of this works for other people, but not for you. Maybe this emptiness is not a phase at all, but simply the truth you had been refusing to see. These thoughts feel like clarity. They are not. They are fear, wearing the mask of honesty. Here is something gentler and truer. The outer world, the visible evidence, the part of life you can point to, is almost always the last place that change appears. It is the slowest mirror you own. There is a lag between the moment something shifts inside you and the moment the world catches up and shows it back. A delay is not the same as a denial. A contradiction is not yet a verdict. The outer world has not refused you. It has simply not finished turning. What you are crossing has a shape, even if you cannot see its edges. It is the stretch that opens after the commitment, but before the confirmation. The beginning was easier, in its way, because it felt like a doorway. There was the rush of the decision, the relief of finally choosing yourself, the energy of a new vision. But the result has not arrived yet, because the new reality is still forming somewhere out of sight. And the middle, this long middle, feels dry because the old comforts are gone and the new ones have not yet come to take their place. You are no longer fed by the old story. You are not yet fed by the new one. This is the dip, and in the language of the spirit it has an older name too, a wide, dry, silent stretch of land that you must cross on foot, a desert. Not because you are being punished, and not because you have wandered off the path, but because this emptiness is simply what it feels like to be between two lives. The old self has stopped feeding you. The new self has not yet fed you back, so you walk. Picture it for a moment, because the image will help you. A solitary figure crossing a dry and silent land. There is no map. Only the slow rhythm of footsteps. Behind, half buried in the sand, lie the ruins of an old life. Ahead, though it cannot yet be seen, there is water, and in the figure's hands, cupped and shielded against the wind, a small flame that has not gone out. That figure is you. The flame is the quiet certainty that brought you here in the first place, smaller now perhaps than it was at the beginning, but still lit. This is the place where most people stop, not because they are weak, because the mind, in its kindness and its fear, mistakes silence for rejection. It hears no answer and decides the answer is no, but silence is not the same as no. In the dip, the absence of evidence can feel exactly like evidence of absence, and it is not. It is only the quiet before the turning. Now we come to the part of this that frightens people most, and the part I most want you to understand. When you begin to live from a new self-concept, the old beliefs do not always fade away politely. Very often they get louder. Just as they are losing their power over you, they rise up with surprising force, and they speak in a voice you know well. They say, "See, nothing ever changes." They say, "You are not the kind of person this happens to." They say, "You tried before and you failed and you are about to fail again." They say, "This is embarrassing. You are embarrassing yourself. Go back to what is familiar." They say, "Stop wanting so much. Lower the desire before it disappoints you. Want less and you will be hurt less." I want you to hear these voices clearly, and then I want you to hear something about them that changes everything. These beliefs are not your enemies, not in the simple way it can seem when they are shouting. Once, every one of them was a shelter. They were built to protect you from disappointment, from humiliation, from the unbearable exposure of hoping out loud and being let down. The belief that nothing ever changes kept you from the ache of wanting change and not receiving it. The belief that you are not the kind of person this happens to spared you the long fall of expecting and being denied. These were not flaws, they were survival. But survival structures cannot follow you into a new life. They were built for a smaller world, and you are no longer living there. So as you move, they rise, not because they are true, but because they are being exposed. The light is reaching them at last, and they are showing themselves before they go. Sometimes a belief screams because it is dying. Let that be a comfort rather than a fear. The old self does not always leave in a single moment of light. Sometimes it bargains, sometimes it grieves, sometimes it gathers up every old piece of evidence, every past failure, every closed door, every time it did not work, and lays them at your feet and tries to make the past look like prophecy. It says, "Look, this is what always happens, this is what will happen again," but the past is not prophecy. It is only a record of the person you are leaving. It can tell you who you were. It has no authority to tell you who you are becoming. What is happening in this stretch has a name that can sound severe, but I want to soften it for you. It is sometimes called the Purge, and the Purge is not the universe punishing you. It is not proof that you are unworthy of what you want. It is not a humiliation arranged to put you back in your place. It is something quieter and far more merciful than that. It is old material, long buried, long hidden, finally rising to the surface because it can no longer stay down. Old grief comes up, old shame, old fear, old ways of bracing for love, old ways of expecting disappointment, old attachments to the version of you who never quite got there. They surface not to torment you, but to be seen, to be felt at last, to be blessed and then let go. Think of it less as a storm and more as the clearing of an old room before someone new can live in it. The dust rises when a long closed door is finally opened. The old furniture has to be carried out into the light before anything new can be brought in. A dry field has to be cleared before the rain will mean anything. None of this is violence, it is preparation. It only looks like loss from the inside. So when the old material rises, you do not have to fight it, and you do not have to flee from it. You can turn towards it the way you might turn towards a frightened part of yourself and say simply, I see you. I know why you were here. I know what you were trying to protect me from. You did your work, and you did it for a long time, but you are not my home anymore. There may come a day in the middle of this when the old self makes its most convincing argument of all. It does not come as a thought this time. It comes as an event, a rejection, a silence where you hoped for a reply, a bill you did not expect, a delay that lands just as your faith was steadying, a cold message, a failed attempt, a morning where the body feels like lead and nothing in your life feels real or possible, and the mind will gather all of it and present it to you as a conclusion. This is a sign to stop. But I want to offer you another way to hold it. Sometimes the old self uses real, familiar evidence to draw you back into a familiar identity. Not because the evidence is fake, it may be entirely real, and not because you should pretend reality is not there, but because your interpretation of what happens is the last place the old self can still survive. The event is real, the meaning you give it is still yours to choose, and that choice is the one piece of this that no delay and no silence can take from you. You do not have to pretend reality is not real. You simply do not have to crown it as a god. You can let the rejection be a rejection without letting it become a prophecy. You can let the silence be silence without letting it become a sentence. The fact of a thing and the meaning of a thing are not the same, and in the dip, the difference between them is everything. There is a particular loneliness to this stretch, and I do not want to pass over it lightly, because it is one of the hardest things about it. You have changed on the inside, but nothing on the outside has happened yet to show it. And so the people around you cannot see the new self. They see only the old circumstances. They see that the thing still has not arrived. Some of them worry for you. Some grow quietly impatient. Some, with love, advise you to be realistic, to lower your hopes, to stop holding on to something that seems to bring only difficulty. And some simply grow uncomfortable around the quiet, stubborn faith they cannot explain. This is one of the loneliest places on the whole path. You are no longer fully at home in the old world, and the new one has not yet recognized you. You are, for a while, between witnesses. There may be a stretch where only you can see what is being born in you. You are not foolish for finding this hard. You are not weak for wishing someone could see it too. But hear this gently. The absence of applause is not the absence of movement. No one clapped when the seed first cracked open underground. The lack of a witness is not the lack of a change. Some of the most important things that ever happen to a person happen when no one else can see them, including sometimes the person themselves until much later. I want to be careful with you here, because there is a kind of advice that would tell you to simply think positive, to paste a bright affirmation over the ache and call the wound a blessing before you have even finished bleeding. You do not have to do that. In fact, I would gently ask you not to. you do not have to smile at the desert. You do not have to be grateful for the dryness while your mouth is still dry. Real faith is much quieter than forced positivity and much stronger. It does not need to deny the pain in order to keep walking. It can say, "This hurts, and I am still becoming." It can say, "I am afraid, and I am still choosing the new self." It can say, "I do not see the evidence yet, and I am not going back to the old story." It can hold the old belief in full view and simply not obey it. So let your body settle for a moment, here, as you listen. Let your shoulders come down from where they have been holding. Let your jaw soften. Let your breath go a little lower and a little slower than it was. There is nothing you have to fix in this exact moment. There is nothing you have to force. Faith is not the denial of what is hard. Faith is only the refusal to let a temporary piece of evidence rebuild the identity you are leaving behind. And then, somewhere in the middle of all this dryness, something small begins to change. It is easy to miss, because it does not look like the thing you asked for. It is not the message, or the door opening, or the life rearranging itself at last. It is subtler than that, and in its own way it matters more. It is a moment of calm where panic used to live, a pause where before there would have been a reaction, a thought that is quieter and kinder than the thought you would have had a month ago. A boundary you hold without agonizing over it. A morning where the old fear rises, and for once you do not follow it down. A small, strange certainty with no evidence behind it at all. These are the first signs of an oasis, not the end of the crossing, not the arrival of everything, but the first thin trickle of water in a dry place. They are telling you something the outer world has not yet caught up to, that you are no longer quite the person who entered the desert. Before the world reflects the new self back to you, your own responses may begin to change. Learn to notice this. Learn to count the inner evidence before the outer evidence arrives, because the inner evidence comes first, always, and it is the truer sign. The day you do not spiral, the day you do not chase, the day you meet the old situation with a new steadiness, that is water. Drink it, let it matter. Do not wait for the whole oasis before you let yourself be glad of the first drop. You are not crossing this alone, though it has felt that way. There is a presence beside you in the dry land, and I do not mean a rescuer who will appear in a flash of light and carry you out. I mean something steadier and far more ordinary than that. Call it intuition, or inner knowing, or the deep self, or simply the part of you that remembers the way even when the rest of you has forgotten it. It does not shout. It does not argue with external reality. It does not panic at every delay or flinch at every closed door. It simply walks beside you. Sometimes you feel it as a wave of calm in the middle of the fear, sometimes as a single quiet sentence that arrives from somewhere underneath the noise, sometimes as nothing more than a sense, faint but real, that you are still moving in the right direction, even though you cannot yet see where you are going. Think of it as a figure walking a little way off in the dusk, carrying a lantern. It does not come and lift you up. It does not need to. It only walks where you are walking, at your pace, and by its presence it reminds you of the one thing the old self keeps trying to make you forget, that you are not lost. You are between places, and you are being accompanied the whole way. As you go, you begin to notice that the desert is not as empty as it first seemed. Scattered across it, rising out of the sand, are ruins, and when you come close, You recognize them because you built them. They are the old identities, the houses you used to live in. Here is the one who always expected rejection, so that no rejection could ever take it by surprise. Here is the one who believed that money never stays, and so never quite let it. Here is the one who learned that love had to be chased, and chased it, and called the exhaustion devotion. Here is the one who decided that being seen was dangerous, and stayed small, and safe, and unseen. Here is the one who discovered, long ago, that hope leads to humiliation, and so stopped hoping out loud. Here is the one who survived by expecting less, and called it being realistic. Do not curse these ruins. Do not stand among them in shame. Every one of them was a shelter once, and it kept you alive through weather you could not have survived unhoused. They deserve your tenderness, even now. But tenderness is not the same as moving back in. You can bless the house that sheltered you without moving back into it. You can stand in front of the old identity and feel the pull of how familiar it is, how safe it once was, and you can keep walking. The ruins are not your home anymore. They are only the architecture of who you used to be, left behind in the sand where it belongs. And now I want to tell you what the breakthrough actually is, because it is almost never the thing people are waiting for. The breakthrough does not always begin in the outer world. It does not always announce itself with the message arriving, the door opening, the life finally rearranging into the shape you longed for. Very often the first breakthrough is something quieter and entirely interior. The moment you realize you no longer recognize yourself inside the old reaction. The setback comes, and you do not become the setback. The silence falls, and you do not make a sentence of it. The delay lands, and you do not abandon the vision. The cold evidence arrives, and you do not pick it up and call it your name. The fear rises, and you do not take it as instruction. This is the moment the new self has taken root. The outer world may still be perfectly quiet, but something irreversible has already happened inside you. The first manifestation may not be the thing arriving. The first manifestation may be that you no longer become the old version of yourself while you wait for it. Hold on to that, because it changes how you measure where you are. You have been watching the horizon for the outer change, and the whole time the real change has been happening in how you meet each ordinary moment. The world has not shown it back to you yet. That is only the lag. The thing itself has already begun. So how do you keep walking from here? Not by gripping, not by obsessing over the outcome, or forcing the feeling, or checking the evidence 100 times a day to see whether it has finally changed. That kind of striving is just the old fear, wearing the clothes of effort, trying to control life because it does not trust it. You do not have to cross the desert that way. You keep walking by returning gently to the new self, again and again and again, breath by breath, choice by choice, one interpretation at a time. You meet the cold message and you choose the steadier reading of it. You feel the old belief rise and you let it rise without obeying it. You return to the quiet vision, not by forcing brightness, but by simply remembering it, the way you would remember someone you love. You do not make the outer world your enemy. You do not make the delay your master. You do not let the discomfort become a sentence passed on your whole future. You just keep walking at your own pace, carrying the small flame. If it would help, there is something small you can do with your body here that is not a task and not a challenge and not one more thing to get right. It is only a way of being with yourself in the dry stretch, Place one hand over your heart. Place the other open in your lap, palm up, as if you were waiting to receive something you cannot yet see. Let your breath slow, and as you breathe, imagine the old belief rising up in front of you, like dust lifted from a long closed room. Do not fight it, do not push it down. Just watch it rise and name it softly. There you are, the fear that nothing changes. There you are, the old story. Then thank it, honestly, for how hard it once worked to keep you safe. And as you breathe out, imagine it settling slowly behind you, like sand drifting back down over old ruins. Now feel the warmth in the palm against your chest. Imagine a small flame resting there, steady, sheltered, undisturbed by any of it, and say quietly, only to yourself, I do not need to become the old self again to survive this moment. Then breathe. That is all. You have not failed at anything. You have only stayed with yourself in a hard place, which is its own quiet kind of faith. So let us return to where we began, to the candle lit in the early light, to the quiet vision held against the cold, to the strange chill that settled over everything just when you had done all you knew to do. You can see it differently now. The dryness was the dip, the long middle between who you were and who you are becoming. The old beliefs that rose so loudly were not prophecy. They were a goodbye, spoken at full volume. The purge was not punishment. It was an old room being cleared. The ruins were not your home. They were shelters you have already outgrown. The oasis was not absent. It was only hidden, and its first water was already reaching you in the small ways you had begun to change. And the figure beside you in the dusk was never a stranger. It was the part of you that has always known the way. So if everything has felt colder since you began, if the old fears have risen, if the outside world has seemed to contradict the quiet truth you are trying to live from, breathe gently. This may not be the end of your becoming. It may be the place where the old self makes its final appeal. Let it speak, let it grieve, let it show you what it once protected, but do not hand it the keys again. The desert is not empty, the ruins are not your home. The oasis is hidden, not absent, and somewhere beside you, the silent emissary still walks, carrying the part of you that already knows the way. You may be closer than you think. Thank you for watching and for walking this path alongside me. If you'd like to support the channel, please like and subscribe. For high-resolution art, music, and full transcripts, consider joining me on Patreon. Until then, carry these reflections gently with you, and I hope to see you again in the next video.